Hi, and greetings from the Frontlines. Many of you know me, some by name only. I'm Reverend Schultz, member of the Holy Cross Lutheran Church family and one of the spiritual care practitioners at Southlake Hospital in Newmarket. I am blessed to call Dawn my pastor, colleague, and friend, and I am grateful to her for the opportunity to bring you this message. First, I want to sincerely thank everyone who is keeping me, all healthcare workers, essential workers, and medical researchers in your thoughts and prayers. Your presence in absence through email messages means more than I ever expected it would, and more than you likely will ever know. Yes, I am doing okay. I work with an incredible team, a vast team from food services to senior leadership, from pharmacists to the maintenance team, from doctors and nurses to the dedicated women and men who work hard to keep the hospital clean, and many, many more. They work day and night to provide leading-edge care to our community. Thank you for remembering us in your prayer. It is my prayer that you stay safe and care for one another, but more on that in a few moments. Some of you have been asking. Yes, we do have confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the intensive care unit. But we also have hundreds of patients who do not have this dreaded virus. The hospital does not stop doing the critical work of caring for all who come seeking healing and hope. There are still mothers giving birth, people receiving treatment for cancer, and the exceptional cardiac care program saving lives every day. We are well trained in using the personal protective equipment necessary for our work caring for all patients. And additional measures are added nearly every day to keep staff and patients safe. As staff, we still laugh with each other and smile. You learn a new way to see a smile when everyone wears a mask. Yes, sometimes laughter is the best medicine. It is the front lines. But it's a different kind of war. In this war, the heroes get to leave the front lines at the end of every shift and go to home and family. That brings some anxiety about transfer of the virus home, but we are reassured that the risk is very low. Fortunately, I haven't been met by my family at the front door with the garden hose to hose me down yet. Going home is not an option for most of our patients. One of their greatest struggles, day after day, is the loneliness because of the restrictions on friends and family visiting. Perhaps you have similar feelings because social distancing keeps you from your family. This is one of my biggest roles right now, being family to those who feel isolated and alone. Speaking of family, the Holy Cross family has a goal for 2020 of having fun together. Well, that's a little difficult in the current situation, but this is a time of creativity, so I want to call on one of my alter egos, reach back almost 500 years, to a letter written by Martin Luther in 1527 to bring you words that are particularly relevant today, and I hope it brings you a smile. Okay, does my hair look okay? I usually don't have this much hair.
Yes, Dad, you look fine.
Thanks. Okay, where are we? Not that one. Not that one. Boy, this Luther was a wordy fella. Not that one. Oh, here it is. Luther wrote to a letter to a friend. Use medicine. Take potions, which can help you. Fumigate your house, yard, and street. Shun persons and places wherever your neighbor does not need your presence or has recovered. And act like a man who wants to help put out the burning city. What else is the epidemic but a fire which instead of consuming wood and straw, devours life and body? Therefore I shall ask God mercifully to protect us. Then I shall fumigate, help purify the air, administer medicine and take it. I shall avoid places and persons where my presence is not needed, in order not to become contaminated and thus perchance infect and pollute others, and so cause their death as a result of my negligence. If God should wish to take me, he surely will find me, and I have done what he has expected of me, so I am not responsible for either my own death or the death of others. If my neighbors need me, however, I shall not avoid place or person, but will go freely as stated above. Moreover, he who has contracted the disease and recovered should keep away from others and not admit themselves into this presence unless it becomes necessary. Though one should aim in his time of need, as previously pointed out, if he in turn should, after his recovery, so act towards others, so that no one becomes unnecessarily endangered on his account, and so cause another's death. If the people in a city were to show themselves bold in their faith when a neighbor's need so demands, and cautious when no emergency exists, and if everyone would help ward off contagion as best he can, then the death toll, would indeed be moderate. But if some too quickly panic and desert their neighbors in their plight, and if some are so foolish as to not take precautions but aggravate the contagion, then many will die. From a letter written by Martin Luther during a deadly plague in his town of Wittenberg in 1527. And finally, I want to remind you to take good care of yourself and others. Try not to get fixated on watching the news. Yes, I know there are no live sports to watch, so maybe turn on the radio and listen to a variety of audio programs you usually would not hear. Pick up the phone, call friends, do puzzles, play solitaire, or read. A few Sundays ago, Pastor Don mentioned that the words, "do not be afraid," appear 366 times in the Bible, one for every day of the year, and one just because. There certainly is fear. Paul writes about hardship, distress, persecution, famine, nakedness, peril, and the sword. But assuringly he continues and writes, "I am convinced that neither death nor life, nor angels nor rulers, nor things present nor things to come, nor powers, nor height, nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God." Let us be that love in the world. Peace and blessings to you all.